One of the biggest surprises I've learned in semi-retirement is that more free time doesn't necessarily make life any better. In some ways, it's been more peaceful, but in other ways, I felt restless, bored, less structured, and sometimes downright lost. I didn't realize how much of my identity and momentum simply came from being busy. So initially, with all that extra free time, I would do the things that I always enjoyed doing and had kind of lost the ability to do, mostly time-wise, between a full-time job and career, raising a family, dealing with an aging parent. There was a lot on my plate, and going out to relax and do simple things just wasn't on the agenda. One for me that's really big is I love airplanes and aviation. I always wanted to learn how to fly when I was young. Never did it, but that's okay. But I would go up to the small airport in our area where private airplanes are, and I would hang out and watch people fly around in their airplanes and taxi around on the ground and all that fun stuff. I had a radio and I could listen to the tower talking to the pilots, and it was great and relaxing and enjoyable and fun. I got to know all the names of the different airplanes and their characteristics, and it was fantastic. Really enjoyed it. So when I first started slowing down and making this transition to semi-retirement, that was one of my things, is go to the airport, just sit there, an hour, 2 hours, just having a snack, watching the airplanes. It was fantastic in the beginning. What else did I do? Well, sometimes I would make a whole day of it, like a whole circle. So I would head out in the morning and go out to the beach and spend some time out there going for a walk. Maybe not on the beach, but on the boardwalk, but just being out in the environment. It felt good. And then as I'm approaching lunchtime, would either eat lunch in that area or go somewhere else. Ultimately, by the afternoon, get to the airport that I was just talking about, watch airplanes for a while, and then come home and deal with whatever I had to deal with, dinner, family, wife, all those things. And it felt so free. Like I had all the freedom in the world to do what I needed to do until it didn't feel so free anymore. And after a while, I'm not 100% sure what the feeling was, what word I could put on it. Restless can be one of the words. Boring could be one of the words. But it started to become the same thing. The beach, the airport, lunch, home. And while it felt like such peace in the beginning, it just started to not be enough. And now, granted, I was working some, but it wasn't, so much work, so many demands that it was breaking that up a whole lot. I had a lot of this free time, and I found that it was no longer peaceful. There were some days where I accomplished nothing. See, funny word right there, accomplished, that was a slip, because that is how your mind starts to go. But I didn't do anything fun. We'll call that the accomplishment that day, or relaxing, or whatever. And the day would be ticking on, and I was like, if it's gonna be like this, I might as well have just been working, I would tell myself. At least if I was working, I'd be helping somebody, I'd be making money. There would be other potential intangible or tangible benefits to it, and I've done nothing of significance today. Those are the thoughts that would kind of go through my head, and that's what would start kind of that restless feeling like, there's kind of gotta be more. And I remember when I had first told somebody about my little routine, like, oh, this is gonna be so great, I'm gonna do this as often as I can. And her response was, it's gonna get boring. I'm like, oh, no way, I love these things. Going for a walk by the beach, watching airplanes, it'll never get boring. She was right, it's starting to get boring. And so trying to find some balance is absolutely key when making this transition. And one of the things my wife noticed was my lack of structure. I didn't have anywhere I had to be at any particular time to do anything at any particular time, except on the days that I had some work. And even when I did, it was very limited at that. In terms of psychology, I try to see no more than 1 to 2 people in the morning, and that's it. The rest of the day is free. And if I don't have clients that morning, then the day is even more free. And so there's no structure. I can get up when I want or when I don't. Sometimes I don't eat lunch at lunchtime because I'm busy or distracted, not because I have so much to do, but because there's no physical structure. I don't have a lunch break at work that I have to eat midday on my lunch break. I don't have to. And so some days it's 2:30, 3 o'clock, 3:30, and I'm finally like, oh, I guess I should be eating lunch. And not having that structure, you stay up late at night because, again, you don't maybe have to get up that early in the morning, and so you can do something else, and then you're sleeping in, and then all of a sudden, it's midday and you're finally getting going. And so not having a structure and routine can be challenging. And I think the solution, for me at least, and for I'm sure other people maybe in this position, is to try to instill structure. I have a buddy. His full-time job was caretaking his parents. They've both passed away pretty recently. The second parent passed away pretty recently. And he still follows a structure. Like, he sets his alarm, I think, for 6 or 7 in the morning. I don't really remember. And even though he doesn't have to, because he has no caretaking responsibilities, and he has no job because that was his job for the longest time, he still gets up as though he has something to do, because he's instilling that structure into his life, even though it doesn't necessarily have to exist, and he could sleep till noon because he's got no boss. But he's creating his own structure, probably goes to bed by a specified time. I never asked him that, but I do know that he still gets up at a specified time, even if he can't sleep at night. He doesn't take advantage and sleep in all day to make up for the lack of nighttime sleep. He does follow his structure as if he had something to do. And I think that's a great strategy for a lot of us in this position to kind of look at, so that we don't start to just mindlessly wander and feel like our life has no real direction anymore. And so we want to avoid that, and perhaps providing our own external structure, internal structure, either way, I think you know what I'm getting at, imposed on ourselves, can provide the structure that life is no longer providing. One more thing that I want to hint at, that I'm going to be dedicating a whole video to, because I've been rolling this around in the back of my head, but I want to have really coherent thoughts before I do it, is this ingrained idea that we have to be productive. Remember I mentioned it earlier? And that was why I kind of slipped up. After being productive for years and years, raising a family, working a job, going to graduate school, college, whatever our life, wherever our life might have taken us and what we had to do, right? We were productive, whether it was financially supportive to some people, altruistically, but it was productive. And when that kind of goes away, and you don't have to be productive at that level, or perhaps if you're fully retired, at any level at all, sometimes that starts to not feel so good. We still have this internal tug, at least I do, maybe some of you do too, this internal tug to do something productive, that just relaxing or just doing something for fun's sake only, is not productive. And if it's not productive, we shouldn't be doing it. And we maybe will internally chastise ourselves or say, no, don't go waste those 2 hours doing that. That doesn't make any sense. You need to be doing this. What does it look like for me? I'll share my experiences. Well, it could be, I should be home making YouTube videos for the channel to try to kind of help and share and create community as much as possible. Or I should be trying to do more networking for the photography business. I should go meet with some business owners, since most of the work I do is with business owners for the photography, for their businesses and their headshots and things like that. I should be out networking. I shouldn't just go, watch surfers surf and have a sandwich by the beach for 2 hours. I could visit 2 businesses and introduce myself and make some connections that might be productive someday. And getting those thoughts out of your head is hard. In the beginning, it's easy, right? Had all that free time to relax, it was great. Then as the restlessness started to creep in, that's when these thoughts of being productive start to creep in too, because it starts to feel like everybody else in the world is working and I'm not. And I'm just floating and having fun and taking advantage. And sometimes for some of us, that just doesn't sit well. and we feel we need to be productive. And so that's another one of the challenges that comes with, starting over late or being in semi-retirement, structure that we talked about earlier, and fighting these feelings, these negative feelings about a lack of productivity, and trying to convince ourselves and teach ourselves a new way, and that we don't have to be as productive anymore when we get to this stage in life. There's no reason to be. We can be if we want to the degree that we feel we want or need to be, but we don't have to be. And that's a huge change for some of us in the way that we conceptualize and think. And I guess really one way to summarize all this is that we have to learn to accept and adapt to a different pace of life. We don't have to get up at 6 to be out of the house by 7, to be at the office by 8, to be home by 5:36, to cook dinner, on and on, day after day, rinse and repeat. It doesn't have to be that way anymore. The pace can change, the activities change, and we have to adapt to that and accept it and feel it's okay, and find ways that, for us at least, for any individual person, makes that as aligned with our values and our needs as possible. But ultimately, we're not going to be as productive. We shouldn't have to be as productive. That's the whole point. Accepting that reality is challenging. And so that becomes one of our tasks, in this phase, is to really learn to accept that we're functioning at a different pace and that it's okay to do so. So, kind of wrapping this one up, thank you for watching and listening. Please write any ideas you have in the comments. I would love to hear. There's no way I know everything. Like I told you before, I'm figuring all this out. I don't know where any of this is going. Hearing from you guys, your struggles, your successes, your thoughts on different topics, things I've omitted or the things that I've said, can make a big difference towards, informing what we all discuss in the community that, I'm hoping to create. So, and my dog says hi. Have a great day.